Have you guys ever watched any high-level Mirage game? If so, you'll notice something immediately. Rounds aren't won by aim alone, they are won with utility. If you're new to Mirage, all of this can feel really overwhelming. So this is a beginner-friendly Mirage utility guide for Bloxstrike. I'm going to show you some simple smokes, mollies, and flashes that will instantly make the map easier to play. Let's get into it. Now, to start things off with the cat smoke, we're going to come to the left side of the trash can here. Aim at the tip of this leaf and do a left click jump throw. As you guys can see, that perfectly smokes off cat. Another way we can throw this smoke is going to be in this corner here next to the set of stairs. All we're going to do is line ourselves up in the middle of this block because we are in Bloxstrike and you can just walk over these. Make sure you are in the middle of the square and jump to make sure you aren't stuck. Aim at the top of the right door and do a left click jump throw. And again, this perfectly smokes off cat every time. Now, the reason 99% of you guys are here is for the window smoke. Now, this is just a disclaimer. It does take a second to land, so make sure you let your teammates know. Now, for the window smoke, we're going to come on the right side of the trash can, not the left that we did the cat smoke. And we're going to find this wooden door we used before. We're going to come to the very top left corner of the right door and do a left click jump throw. Now, as you guys can see, it covers the entirety of window and a little bit below, which can be a negative thing for some players, as the smoke does land on this little ledge here. Now, I know that one can be a little bit tricky, so this is the one I personally use. We're going to come back to this square here and make sure we are directly in the middle. Then we're going to find these wooden pillars at the top of this roof, and there's going to be 6 of them. Come to the one directly in the middle, and push your crosshair until it reaches the antenna and do a left click jump throw. So, as you guys can see, it lands on that ledge and completely covers the window, and I definitely think this lineup is much better than the first one, and this is the one that I personally use. But because we have a window smoke, a cat smoke, it's only right that we stick to mid and I show you guys a connector smoke. So for the connector smoke, we're going to come to the right side here, the same that we threw the window smoke, and find this giant red carpet you cannot miss. We're going to come to the bottom right corner of this little red design in the middle, and you are safe anywhere here to do a left click jump throw. As you guys can see, connector is smoked and it is very, very poofy, and you guys will see why I do not recommend throwing this smoke as a T-sided player. My graphics are on max, so if you put it down to 0, you can basically see right through this smoke. A really good CT player will always smoke connector, so it's not even worth it. So let's move on to something a little more useful. So to do an underpass smoke, we're going to come back to this corner here next to the stairs, line ourselves up in the middle, and find this red carpet again. We will find a sort of little oval shape here, and we're going to do a left click jump throw. Now this smoke is very powerful as CT players love to jump out of window to contest underpass. Okay, it looks like I'm cheating. Now, some of you may have just seen that and thought, hey, that might not be as useful. What if I already used my smoke? Well, what you can do is grab a Molotov and aim at the red part above the A, do a running left click throw, and it will perfectly molly under window, keeping any underpass players at bay. However, usually if any players are going to play aggressive mid, they're honestly not alone. So in this example, we have a CT player playing very aggressive mid, and all we need is a very good flash, which we are going to use this brown window here. All we're going to do is have our flash out, and while running, left click throw at the brown window. It will bounce behind the box and completely blind anybody playing aggressive towards mid. Now I'll show you what it looks like from the defender's point of view. Yeah, as you guys can see, that guy was blind for so long. Now, let's say we get that kill, and now we are top mid, and Window Smoke has faded away. How are we going to get out of this situation? Well, with a resmoke, of course. Now, this does work with mollies and smokes, so first things first, we're going to make sure we're on this back wall here, and find this gigantic antenna. We're going to aim at the direct bottom of this antenna, and while running forward, we are going to left click throw. This is in front of us, and as you guys can see, it perfectly lands in window. Now, as I said, this does work with smokes, which is the main use for it. It is the exact same. And many players do not know this smoke, which is very important. Because we resmoke window, now we can progress through cat or onto A through connector. But speaking of onto A, this is one of the most powerful smokes for A site, and that is going to be the most common angle held, which is stairs. Now to smoke's top stairs, we're going to find this door and shift walk up to the grate so we are directly in the middle. Then we're going to find this massive white wall you can't miss and come up to this point here. It is straight and then it curves a little bit into a point because it's Roblox. Then we're going to move our crosshair just a little bit up and then do a left click jump throw. You will see the smoke as it's falling down and stairs will be smoked. Now, another very common angle for CT players to play is jungle, as jungle is a very dominant position to hold palace or to hold the cross out to sight. So let's go ahead and get that smoked off. First, we are going to want to find these wooden planks, stand in the corner, and left click jump throw on the edge of this wall. Jungle is completely smoked off. Now this is extremely powerful if you combine it with the stair smoke, as anyone on this right side of A will not be able to see a single thing. Now everybody knows players also love to play CT, so let's get a smoke for that. This one is extremely easy. We're going to walk up to this edge of the wall here where it sort of curves, and we're going to just place ourselves in the middle. Next, we're going to want to find this wooden pillar sticking out and do a left click jump throw. Now, this smoke is extremely powerful as nobody can be seen, not even if you're fucking Shaquille O'Neal. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? This flash is extremely powerful. Yes, this is only one lineup. This flash hits almost every single angle, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It is extremely simple, and all we're going to want to do is line ourselves up again in the middle of that grate and find this lamp here. Look at the tip of the lamp and left click throw. It is that simple. Just this little tip here. That's all you need to do for the best flash. Now, let's say you want to molly under palace, which is extremely simple if you just throw a Molotov down this hole. However, what happens if it was smoked? Don't worry, I got you. What you guys are going to want to do is shove yourself in this corner and line up at the bottom of where the trim and the door frame meet. All you're going to want to do now is hold S and A, shove yourself into this corner, and let go of the Molotov. Doing so will perfectly toss it under palace and instantly start damaging any player under there. Now for a quick little post-plant molly, all you guys have to do is plant for cat. This is a very good plant spot, as you can be seen from jungle, cat, and from ramp. But what we're going to want to do is run through ramp up towards T-spawn and jump on top of the platforms here. Now this lineup is very hard to explain, but all you're going to do is line up on this crack and stare at this brick the second from the left of the pillar. It kind of stands out as it's a gradient between the light washed color bricks and the darker. Once you do it a few times, you guys will get the hang of it. Now, switching over to B side, I have a kitchen smoke for you. All you guys are going to want to do is shove yourself into this corner. Look at the tip of this building and do a left click jump throw. And this perfectly smokes off kitchen window. As you guys could see, I could get there before the smoke landed, so make sure you guys delay your entries. Now, to smoke kitchen door, we're going to go back into this corner. Look at the point of this roof on the right side and do a left click jump throw. Now, as you guys can see, it did take a while to land as well, so you will have to delay your entry still. Now, for a very good flash outside of T-apps, all we're going to do is charge our flash and throw it into the middle of sight. It will balance out the other side and flash any players playing short and arches. So, this is what it looks like full speed. As you guys can see, it is very, very powerful. The flash pops the second you land. Now, for a super overpowered cat molly, all we're going to want to do is shove ourselves back into that same corner. Look at the left side of this building now and move our crosshair up and to the left. Just a touch. You guys can see in the top right corner. And all we're going to want to do is a simple left click throw. This molly is extremely powerful, as it stops defenders from instantly collapsing once you take sight, which can ultimately win rounds. Now, a super common spot for defenders to sit is going to be bench, and we have a really easy molly for this. All we're going to do is look at this giant red tarp, and while running, do a left click throw, and it lands there every time, pushing defenders out or ultimately dying to the molly. Okay, now let's switch over to CT side so I can... Where's my gloves? Alright, anyways, this is how you smoke Palace from CT. We're going to shove ourselves into this corner, look at the top left corner of this window, and do a left click jump throw. This smoke is very good if the team you're playing loves to rush through Palace with SMGs. Now, this is more of a tip than a lineup. However, I see a lot of players when they go to molly or smoke off a ramp right at the beginning of the round, they usually run out really wide and bounce it off this wall here. However, doing so puts you in a bad position as you'll be out in the open. So, to fix this, we can throw this over this box as long as you aim high enough. Doing so, you'll be able to stay protected the entire time, and this also works with smokes. Make sure you guys implement this into your game to stop stupid deaths from being out of position. You never know when a T-side player will rush onto site. Speaking of rush onto site, a lot of players love to rush out B on pistol rounds, so we can deny that by shoving ourselves into this corner and looking at the, well, make sure you're standing up, and then looking at the top left corner of this air conditioning system and do a simple left click throw. And okay, what am I doing? And look at the top left of this air conditioning system and do a left click throw. Doing so, it'll bounce into the window and perfectly smoke off apps. You do still have to watch this angle, however this angle is extremely easy to hold. Yo, it's Zoak. I was just editing this video and I realized I forgot one of the best smokes in the game, and that is going to be the mid cross smoke. So go ahead and shove yourself in the right side of the trash can. This is the same side we did the window smoke as well as the connector smoke. All we're going to do is find this giant antenna, look a little bit to the right, and do a simple left click throw. Now, this smoke is extremely powerful as it allows us to cross out mid without being shot or detected. You do have to be careful of any players pushing mid, but that is where you can add the flashbang I showed earlier, and you can fight through window and swing cat if you really wanted to. Now, another smoke I completely forgot to do is just the connector smoke, which is extremely easy and extremely powerful, as the smoke comes out far enough to the point where if you're a CT player, it is free lurks. Literally just walk out of the smoke and swing underpass for free, as you are covered from top, mid, and cat. Getting back is extremely easy, and you just got a free pick underpass without being able to be traded. Alright you guys, that's going to wrap up the Mirage lineup guide for Bloxstrike. If these smokes or Molotovs helped you at all, make sure you drop a like so other people can find the video. If you want more guides like this, the super basic and simple lineups that you need, or if you guys want some more advanced utility, let me know down in the comments down below. If you are trying to get better at Bloxstrike, I recommend you join the Race It Discord server in the description down below. This is where you can find more competitive games and compare your elo against some of the best Bloxstrike players. It's been your boy Zoak, and I'm out. Thank you guys so much for watching.